Okay, time for a short review on the basic or foundational principles of living well. I went back and put the principles in the same diagram as I showed before. Okay, so we've got the top would be 3 axioms. Axioms being things that can't be untrue. They can't be discovered to be false. If you try to disprove them, you use them. So you use them inadvertently. You prove their truth by trying to disprove them. Those are axioms. They are stuck with you. You can rely on them for the rest of your life without doubt. That's kind of cool. All right. And then when you are a human being doing that, and you utilize evidence of your senses to make some sense of reality, you will find yourself operating under this supremacy of reason. Earlier I said it was reason is absolute, and I'm going to alter that to say that reason is supreme. It is the way, the arbiter of truth of something is reason. So you can operate under other principles in your life. You can try to go and do things either by feelings or by, like a gut feeling, or some, maybe you feel you had a revelation, and they say intuition is something that's actually unexplained logic, like unconscious, semi-subconscious logic that's operating in you. Okay, so it might not be fully conscious. Your use of reasoning might not be fully conscious to you, but it will be supreme. The factors of existence will have a relationship to you. You'll have a relationship to the factors of existence. You as an organism will exist in the universe, and that relationship will be improved or hampered, mitigated, sometimes even destroyed by failing to submit to the supremacy of reason. When I say submit to, I mean you could use your willpower to just defy it, like, oh, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to think. You can use your willpower to do that. Human beings have that potentiality. But it won't work for you. It's not, as one scientist called it, on average adaptive. It's not adaptive to do that. Okay, so reason is supreme, supremacy of reason, arbiter of what will work or not. You can accidentally get to the right answer too. People say, well, how come before we started studying reason or explicitly using it, sometimes we had the right answer? But you can get there accidentally too. It's just if you want to check it, you got to go back and use reason. You want to validate it after the fact, which is perfectly fine. To validate the truth of something is perfectly fine that you accidentally got to the truth, but as long as you go ahead and do the extra step of validation. Okay. Then we had reason being man's means of survival. It talked about how you could treat like a lion. You could say, hey, this lion is a cat, and cats are normally friendly, so therefore I'm going to walk up to this lion and roughhouse with it or something. I used to roughhouse with my dogs, and they actually liked it, but I would never roughhouse with a lion. Why not? Reason, because I have enough reason, and I value my life a little bit. So, and I shouldn't say a little bit. I'm trying to be too modest here. Which reminds me, a previous video I said you should be a little bit self-centered. You shouldn't just be a little bit self-centered. You should actually be fully self-centered. It doesn't mean you're self-absorbed, but you should be fully self-centered in your life, which could involve a lot of sharing and a lot of giving. People don't realize this. You're not just a reptile that eats other things. Human beings are different. being selfish doesn't necessarily mean being mean. It doesn't mean acting like a savage. That's not what being human means. Okay? So being selfish is not a bad thing. If you're not self-absorbed, where you, like a miser can be absorbed with money to the point where he's not actually happy, and you can't be absorbed with yourself to the point where you're not actually happy either. Part of your happiness will involve love for other people and stuff like that. Alright, so reason is your means of survival. What's next? The actualization of the potential in each man's life is his moral standard. So I changed it, man's life is his moral standard, to the actualization of the potential of. And what I mean by that is, if you just say man's life is his moral standard, it is totally true. But it's not totally helpful, because the idea that man is a being with potential to actualize, to grow, to make progress in all areas, to express himself. The richness, it doesn't capture the richness of being human. Like, you have all this potential to do things, to create things. Just look at a city once. Just look at the city, just for 2 minutes. Look at skyscrapers. Where'd they come from? You don't find them in the jungle. Apes don't ever build skyscrapers. So what is that thing that man had that creates all this? You know, you have to think about that for any of this to matter to you. It can't just be words on a board. You have to feel it in your heart, you know. So actualization of the potential of each man's life is his moral standard. And then I mentioned 5 universal values of human beings. Again, some philosophers will argue there are no universal values. Everybody's so different. We're all this. Being human is the precise nature of being human is not to have a nature. They'll say, okay. Alright, and then people like me will argue, there's something about being human. Okay, we'll say that there's probably going to be these things called survival needs, where food might be important, not just for some people some of the time, but for everyone all of the time. Okay, it makes it objective and universal. And then we might even go on to say, we even have mental needs, like knowledge. Said you have to know where your door is to leave your house. You have to know to water vegetables in your vegetable garden, or they may not, grow and sprout, and you might go hungry and die because of the lack of knowledge. Knowledge is necessary. And animals, repetitive patterns of behavior can be all that's needed for existence. I mentioned a beaver builds a dam. It builds a dam the same way as all of its ancestors did. Same with a spider and a web. Spiders build the web the same way every ancestor of that spider built the web. It doesn't have to learn new knowledge to exist. It comes with, animals come with what it takes to live well. To live, I guess. I don't know if you could say animals live. Animals can live successfully according to other animals, I guess. But just picture a lion with 3 legs. Is it going to do well? No. A gazelle with 3 legs, is not going to be able to make it away from the lion. The lion with 3 legs will never catch a real gazelle. I don't know if you've ever seen those gazelles. They move pretty good. They can jump pretty high. And then, so we're going to have survival needs, mental needs. I mentioned intimacy needs. The need for other people, and I mentioned the movie Castaway. Character Chuck Nolan, played by Tom Hanks, the most trusted person in the world, according to I think it was Rush Limbaugh. I was listening. He said there was a list of the most trusted people, and there was a poll taken, and it was Tom Hanks. Okay, So take it from him. Also, the freedom from coercion. This means you're not forced to do anything. If you were, let's say you had a society that was a slave society, and you could ask at the end of each slave's life, how satisfactory was your existence? Every day you worked and toiled for somebody else's benefit, and could not have the own personal initiative to chase after your dreams or aspirations. Does that feel pretty good? They would say no. They would say, you know, it might be possible that humans have a natural universal need to be free from coercion from other human beings. Okay? And if you don't meet that need, then you won't thrive. No exceptions. Okay? And the last one was the chance. I put here the chance because you don't always do it. The chance to earn your own high self-regard. If you can earn your own high self-regard, then you can have like a kind of authentic self-esteem.